Can you see my reflection on the computer through my glasses? Anyways, let me think of another one. Where do you live?
Wherever you are, that's where I am.
I don't see you. She's in my closet. Hello? Siri? She's not in there. She lied to me. Okay.
Alright, if I took the time to edit this, you probably seen a clip of me just now when I was 11. I'm now about to be 21 tomorrow. This is my last day being 20. Hopefully I take the time to edit this. I don't know. We'll see. It depends how I feel. I just want to let you know I recorded this already, but I was taking like 40 minutes and my phone kept running out of storage, and I'm like, I shouldn't be taking 40 minutes talking about this. That wasn't the plan. So I could do this in 20 minutes without running out of storage if I just get to the point. So I'm really gonna try to do that, but I already forgot what I was gonna say so much. But yeah, by the way, that clip of me was super cringe. It's when I thought I was gonna be a YouTuber when I was a kid. I had one of those phases. So I thought about doing little videos reacting to the old clips. I think that'd be pretty funny because I have tons of videos, but hundreds of videos of when I was 11 are lost because I deleted them like compulsively, like on a whim, because I'm like, I just can't look at these anymore. But some of them are still there, so maybe I could react to those sometimes. I think it'd be funny. But anyways, yeah, it's crazy that 10 years have passed since I was a child. What I want to do is provide a guide or a documentation of my 20s. I'll make a video every year until I am 30 years old, and see how much far I've gotten from now until then, because I was always like sometimes I'm like, I wish I knew where I went wrong or what I could have done different. Maybe this will help. I don't know if it's necessarily good. In the other video, I went on a whole tangent about how I wish I had like a step-by-step guide or someone to like follow, idolize, and just follow everything they did. But it's not good to copy. You're on your own time. There's no such thing as being too late to do something or being too early. If I don't accomplish anything in my 20s, but then I hit it off in my 30s, that's perfectly fine. This is just more so for me, because I want to see progress, even if it doesn't get me anywhere. I want to be able to look back and be like, okay, so you'll follow me along. There's so much more I could talk about, but I'm not trying to waste a lot of time like I did in the other video. We'll just get started. I'm going to get started about how my first year being 20 went. It sucked. No surprise there, but it sucked probably more than any other year of my life. Like, I hated middle school, but I wouldn't say I hated being 12. I wouldn't say I hated being 13 or 11. I just hated middle school, but I felt comfortable. I felt comfortable in my identity as a 8-year-old or as a 13-year-old or as a 17-year-old. I felt comfortable in that age and that identity. When I turned 20, it felt weird. I felt like an old person, even though just the year before I was like, being 20 is going to be so awesome, and I'm still super young. And then when I actually turned 20, it felt like a weight was on me, and I felt like I was detached from everyone else. Yeah, I think it's because I missed college so much when I turned 20. I think that was a big thing. I was kind of missing it because I graduated from college 2 days before I turned 20 years old. So at 19, I graduated college. And I missed it a lot because college was the first time where I put myself out there a little bit more. I defeated a lot of my social anxiety that totally conquered me. In my high school and middle school years, I made a lot more friends. I got to meet new people. I got to do theater. I was too scared to do theater in grade school. I did theater for the first time because I love theater. I love the freedom. I love the adventure of going new places. The traditions of the school. Just how we felt like a community. It was like our own little village. It was just so nice. And I think I missed it. Do I regret graduating early? No, because I cannot afford to go all 4 years. In my personal opinion, I don't think college is worth it unless you're going to be an engineer or a medical doctor or something. But even that, I've known some people who got an engineering degree and they're like, I still can't find a job. It's a bit hard. That's normal. But I feel like you don't have to go to college to build yourself up. It'll kind of sort of take the same amount of time with or without a degree to get that experience and build yourself up, because in both cases, degree, no degree, you need to build experience. Otherwise, you're not going to get the job. So, like, I got a degree in performance studies, which is basically theater, dance, music, film, because that's my passion and that's all I care about. But that's not, I mean, I love the professors. They're good there. They're fantastic. It has nothing to do with them. It's just the fact that my degree kind of does nothing for me. And I've learned new things. I've gotten better because of going to school. But the thing is, the places I want to apply and work for, they don't care about what I've learned or what I've done. They want to see on my resume that I've worked here or I worked there, or I had this experience or that experience. Anything that's under education, to me, is overlooked, from my experience. So yeah, but I still enjoyed, and I went to college mainly just because I felt a little bit pressured to. Everyone I knew went to college, and so I was like, okay, I'll go, but I'm just going to get it over with as quickly as I can. But I wish I could, if I didn't have to pay for it, I would still be there. I should be starting my senior year now, but again, I graduated early. I just miss being around other people and the independence, because I don't have that anymore. And I think that's, so missing that was what was rough about my 20s, but what was also hard was being here was like the complete opposite of being at college. I only get to see my friends through phone calls, my 2 friends, because the friends I made over there, I love them and I miss them, but sadly we don't keep in touch like that. I guess I was more acquaintances to them, but they meant the world to me. Anybody who's a good person, you do something for me when I meet you. Like, you make me feel good about myself. You mean a lot to me. And I get sad when I don't get to see you anymore, but, that's just the way it is. That's life, right? But I miss knowing these people and being like, oh, hey, what's up, this person, that person. I miss casually running in, casually seeing them. And now I only talk to my 2 friends, which is fine. I love my 2 best friends that I've known since like middle school, but we only get to talk through call on top of that. So I don't really see anyone. I'm one of those people who, I got my license at 16, but I never learned how to drive anywhere except to school and back. And it's still kind of the case now. I only know how to drive to work and back. But I've gotten better and I've gotten more comfortable. So I guess that's some progress for being in my 20s. I'll get better at driving, but it's just, I wasn't comfortable. So, but I gotten better. But since at the beginning of my 20s, I still wasn't comfortable. I didn't go a lot of places. I was kind of trapped here, and I felt like a burden to my parents, which I'm sure, a lot of people do. But I also don't want to look like a loser in front of my sisters who are younger than me and who look up to me. So I felt like, I have 3 younger sisters. I'm the oldest. I feel like I have to set a very good example. So I'm like, and I had a job, but the thing is, I hope my work doesn't see this, but if they do, so be it. I didn't really like my job too much. It's not the worst job, it's just, it wasn't my passion, and I wish I could work in something I'm passionate about, especially with this job that I'm working in that I don't want. You have to be a passionate person. And in fact, when I go into this job, I put on an actor's face because I'm like, it's a substitute teacher, right? And I'm training to be an actual teacher. And kids deserve the best, right? And I feel so sad because there's so many crappy teachers. And the reason why there's so many crappy teachers is because not enough people are becoming teachers. They need teachers. That's why it was easy for me to get this job. And I got it because it pays very well, or like decent for what you're doing as a substitute, right? I hate to say it, but you're basically a babysitter. Right? I mean, you're not teaching. You just hand out the assignments, make sure they don't hurt themselves, make sure they behave, and make sure they're on task. But you're not lecturing, you're not giving insights, or you're not checking up on their grades. You're not a teacher. You're a babysitter. So, but it pays well for that. But other times it's like, I'm like, God bless teachers, man. I mean, they don't get paid enough for what they do. They really don't. it's not for the faint of heart, I can promise you. I've worked in different districts. Some schools, they're tolerable. They're pretty good. You're at schools where you're like, I could do this, right? This is nice. You go to another school, you could barely survive one day. You feel so disrespected. I'm not gonna go on I'm not gonna go on a tangent about, that's not what this video is about. But you know, it's not so much about like the bad school days where I'm like, I hate this job. It's because all fields of work have their horrible days or horrible places to be in, right? That it has nothing to do with that. Even when I'm working with good classrooms and really good kids, I'm just not passionate about it, and I feel like I'm not fulfilled in this job because I'm not giving the kids what they deserve, right? They deserve a really great teacher. I feel like I can never be that teacher. And I try, I do what I can. But I feel like if I'm not passionate, how are the kids going to succeed, right? So I'm really desperately trying to find other work. So this whole year, worked as a substitute teacher, been taking classes and training and testing for being a real teacher. But on the side, I've been applying to things I actually want to do. My passion. I'm a cartoonist. I want that as a job, but I would take anything in theater and film as well. I love script writing and directing. I want to be an entertainment person. I want to be a Walt Disney type figure, if I'm being honest, if we're going to bigger ambitions. And in my hold on, wait. Sorry, I have to think about what I was going to say. Yeah. 20s. Job I don't like. Feeling like a burden. I gotta make sure this is still recording. Yep, it's still recording. Okay. I feel like a burden. Job I don't like. I'm saying the same things. Let me start all over. Job I don't like. Feeling like a burden. Missing normal life because I'm kind of stuck here. Don't feel super independent. My eye just twitched. And I felt like I made no steps forward in achieving what I want to achieve. I have, but it just doesn't feel that way. Maybe it's because the steps forward I made are very recent, because I got an animation internship for a smaller studio. I don't know how much I could disclose about that, so I'm not going to talk about it further, but that was awesome. Not paid, but it's for the experience. And like, it has been phenomenal. I've never been in a setting like this, and it's awesome. And then I finally got a part in a musical, because I've never been in a musical, let alone a play, since college. I've only ever been in 2 plays, despite how much I love theater. And I've only directed one in college. And I've been trying now, but everything I audition for, everything I apply for, regardless if they pay me, even if it's a volunteer or internship thing, that I don't get accepted either. And I at least 100 different things I've applied for, and again, only gotten like 2. The musical and the, what's it called? The animation internship. And those are big things, but those happened. This happened like 3 weeks ago. So again, maybe that's why it doesn't feel like an accomplishment for the 20-year age, but they're still accomplishments, and I'm super excited for them, because I haven't even gotten started in the musical. I just found out but we start next week. It's gonna be amazing. It's for a community theater, and I have a small part, but again, I'm hoping to get myself out there, right? And maybe find that stage manager position or the director's position, maybe. So I'm sorry, I get distracted. So yeah, I got those accomplishments. What was I talking about before? Yeah. 20 sucked. 20-year-olds, I can't say 20s. I'm barely starting my 20s. This is year 0. Year 1 starts tomorrow. Year 0. It wasn't. But the purpose of this is, again, I'm going to make an update video every year about where I'm at, how my 21st year is, and how my 22nd year is. I guess I could just summarize this one by saying it felt bleak. It kind of sucked. I kind of felt like I went nowhere. I kind of feel like a loser, but I'm not going to lose hope. I'm going to keep applying for stuff. And finally, I think I'll close off with my perfect plan, and it's not going to go away a plan. That's why it's going to be interesting. I'm going to lay out my perfect plan, and we'll see how closely my plan is followed. I have a comic strip series I made. It's called Alistair and Lilith. I've talked about it a little bit on here, and I have a separate channel for it. But I've been working on this since I was 17 years old. It has an ending. It's just hard because it's just me by myself. I want to translate this comic. I want to put it out there, and eventually I want it to gain an audience for how much I put it on Webtoon, how much I put it on social media. I want it to get an audience, and I want it to have enough of an audience where I can make it into an animated series, and then I want the animated series to gain its own audience, and then from there, the finances I make with that audience from the animation, I want to put it on stage as a musical, because I am, again, a theater person. But I really think cartoony stuff can wow the audience. It could be like a magic show if it's done right. That's the key word. And I really, really, really have ideas that I want to execute so badly. But I also want to be on stage as one of my characters. I don't care which characters. I could be a can-can dancer. That's fine. Because, yes, I do have can-can dancers in my idea for this. Or it could be one of the main people. But I doubt it because I don't think I fit for any of my characters. The character I only most identify with that I think I could portray well is Lucky the Snake character that I have. But I don't think I would play any of my other characters just because I want the main cast specifically to be portrayed accurately, and I couldn't portray any of the characters accurately, again, except maybe Lucky, because I think I have the voice for him. I think I have the mannerisms. I wrote him more after the bad side of my personality, I guess I should say. He's very sarcastic. He's kind of a little bit petty. So yeah, I think that character I could portray, but I could take a background person because I want to be on stage for this production, because I want to see the audience's reactions in front of me. That's what I live for. I live to spark joy, reactions, and inspiration in people. That's my goal, and I want to see it. I want to see it right in front of me. Nothing gives me more of a high than being on stage. I love the adrenaline of it. I love it. I live for being on stage. I really do. Again, I'm not the biggest actor. As the director, I like seeing my actors go on stage. I'm like, yes. And then if I get to take a bow on stage as a director, it gives me a high. I'm like, look at how happy all these people are. I love seeing the faces of the audience, which is weird because I grew up having such bad social anxiety, and I still do. But again, I think it's different when they're looking at you as the source of their inspiration and not so much as a person. I know that sounds weird. Like, what do you mean you don't want someone to look at you like a person? When you're looking at characters on a stage, you're looking at them to make you cry, to make you laugh, to inspire you. You're not so much being like, I wonder what that person's like in real life, And I think because people aren't concerned with me, it gives me less stress and anxiety. Like, are they judging me? Are they thinking, why am I so short? I don't know, stuff like that. My normal social anxiety stuff, I don't think it's as bad when I'm on stage, because I know they're mainly just thinking about the characters and the props and the costumes. So I think that's why I like being on stage, but I want to be there because I want to see it, so I don't really care what part or position I have on my own stage. Again, I just want to portray one of the main characters, unless it was Lucky the Snake. But then I would want to take these main cast of stage actors and I would want to put them on tour, like a concert. And I want them to be... Hold on. I gotta make sure this is still recording because I've been running out of storage lately. So, anyways, I want to put them on tour and have them perform the songs from the musicals and just go in their like casual clothing. It could be tank tops, shorts, or it could be a suit if you feel like a suit. I want my actors to have the freedom to do that and just go out and have fun with the audience, because I want the concerts to be super cheap too, so anyone could just go and have a good time. And again, but I want to make the characters so endearing, and I want to pick actors who are able to have a bond. Again, bands back in the day, they picked people specifically who at least looked good together. It was actually hard to get them to get along for a lot of bands, but if you could actually get the band actor, sorry, I'm thinking theater, but if you could get the band performers to actually, band members to bond, right? That's like heaven. That's the ideal situation. But a lot of times they couldn't get along, but at least they could, convey like, oh, we're buddy buddy, right? And that's part of like the what drew people into these band groups, right? And I want them to feel that way about the cast of actors and the characters and the songs they sing. So I want to write good songs. I want to pick good people, not good actors, good people, and then to who can speak, who are able to portray my characters the way I want. It doesn't have to be good necessarily. I have to look at you and be like, the way you're behaving right now, I see that in my character, but I want them to be able to get along, because I want people to just have a sense of community and comfort when they see them on stage. And cheap concerts are a problem. There's been deaths because of cheap concerts. There's been disasters because of cheap concerts. Free concerts for big names. There was this one big name band. I can't remember which one it was for the life of me, but they had a free concert back in, I think it was the 70s or the 80s. And it was chaos because there were so many people, couldn't see what was going on, couldn't hear what was going on. I think someone got stabbed. I think that's what ended up happening. It's just too much chaos, but I think I could have it be cheap and where it could be managed, almost like a waiting list, like only X amount of people could be here, but it's still possible for you to be here. You don't have to pay a crazy amount of money, right? And I also want them to be able to tour everywhere, not just the big stadium places. I want them to be at a local bar or a local beach or something like that. Just places where people are and where people already have a community in, I want it to feel real and genuine. And just for the main actors to just go out, have fun, sing and dance, and bring joy through the songs from my silly cartoon comic that it originated from. That's my big goal. To go even further, because I would like to go further. But if I could achieve that, that would be enough for me. But if I could achieve that, and if I could go further, I would like to continue making films, continue making maybe comics. I don't know. This is really the only comic I'm passionate about, but maybe 2 more comics series, some animated stuff, and then some theater productions. I just want to do some here and there, just casually as my job, right? Because it's what I love to do. Just do more projects, but none as big as my comic one that I just finished talking about. Just do a few projects here and there, and over the course of my life, build up enough money to where I can have a theme park like Walt Disney. Because, again, I do want to be a type of Walt Disney figure. And my park will be better. It will be safer. It will be, hopefully, there's so much more I gotta learn about business, but I want to do everything I can to make it where it's fair and people are able to go without blowing a fortune, I just want to make it, I'm not trying to be like, oh, I could do better than Disney. I'm saying he left the footprints, so I'm not here to just copy what he did. I want to go beyond that and take advantage of the work that was left behind and be like, okay, this is what worked here and here, this is what didn't work in the park, so how can I make this work, or how can I add something new, I want to do that. That way, after I die, there will always be a place that I left behind that still gives joy, continues to provide joy and entertainment forever. I wanted to have a movie theater there. And I want to fund this park with all the projects I do over the course of my life. That's the second phase, I guess. First phase is all those adaptations of my one comic that I'm working on right now. The comic, the cartoon adaptation, and then the musical. And then phase 2 is continue working, doing what I love, and then funding, finally, a theme park surrounding my comics and all the other productions that I've worked on in the past. As well as new, because, theme parks, especially Disney, Haunted Mansion wasn't a thing before. Let me make sure I'm still recording. Okay, I am. Haunted Mansion or Pirates of the Caribbean didn't exist before. They were created for the park, and I think there's something magical about that. So I'm mainly going to have that, like original ideas for the park, but I think it's super cool to incorporate things that people like into parks. So anything I create, as long as it's things that people have enjoyed. Okay, y'all, real quick, because my phone did end up running out of storage. Family. If I have a family, I don't care if I achieve any of this or not, because really, honestly, I feel like I know my own kids now more than anyone else, even though they don't even exist yet. I'm so serious about it, and it's a recent revelation when I was 19 up until now, how I realized how important family is, because before it was just ambition, 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 goals, 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 and success, and that's so, so important for me in my life and who I am, but I'm not going to be happy without family. I know that for a fact. And I'm so excited to find a family. In my ideal plan, I do get a family too. Yep, that's the ideal plan. Phase 1, which is the comic adaptations. Phase 2, which is the theme park. I'm not going to continue about the theme park rant. I think I made my point. And then meeting someone, having a family with them, having a few kids, and that's the ideal plan. But I don't know what'll happen. We'll see. But yeah, that was 20 years old. I didn't like it very much, but hopefully 21 will be better, and I'll keep y'all updated. I have to hurry because, again, short on storage. Okay, bye, y'all. Thank you for being here.